If you're a fan of metal music, which if you listen to my podcast on a regular basis, chances are you are a big fan of metal music. I have an amazing guest on, Chuck Billy from Testament, so you are in for a treat. It's Anne Erickson. Let's rock. Welcome to the Audio Inc. Radio podcast, featuring interviews with the biggest names in rock and metal, hosted by Anne Erickson.
Get inked. Visit Facebook.com/Audio Inc. Radio, Twitter.com/Audio Inc. Radio, and AudioIncRadio.com for more ink.
One thing about being a metal lover, it's great to talk with other people who are fans of metal music, hard rock, just all that kind of music. And it's so great to talk to one of the greatest metal musicians out there right now, Chuck Billy of Testament. Just a nice dude, and of course, extremely talented. Testament, just killer live. I saw them for the first time a few years back. I can't exactly remember if it was 1 or 2 years, but they were on that big Slayer farewell tour with a bunch of great bands. Anthrax was on there, just an awesome night. But Testament blew me away. They are so good in concert and just have that real raw heavy metal thrash appeal, but always working some melody too. So just love their sound. They've got that new record out, which is a solid set. Of course, the big news, Chuck Billy of Testament tested positive for COVID-19. The guys were on tour in Europe with a bunch of other metal bands, and a bunch of them got it. It was actually very scary. Some of them, of course, had more mild cases, and some ended up in the ICU, on ventilator, just the whole thing. So I am very happy to report that Chuck Billy tells me he and his wife are now 100% better. Yeah, 100%. I would call that COVID-free. I don't even know if that's a term, but let's make that a term. They are COVID-free. So I was very happy to talk with him about his whole experience with it and how he's doing now. Lots of good stuff in there about how he dealt with it and just how it's impacting the entire music world, just impacting so much. Also talked about the new music and just a lot of other really great things. So I'm Anne Erickson, just awesome to rock with you. And if you listen to the podcast, please subscribe wherever you rock out to podcast. Leave a 5-star review. I know I say that a lot, but it really helps. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Link up with me on social media because I'm online right now. Just like you, everything is turned upside down because of COVID, and it gives me more time to connect with you. So link up on Twitter and Snapchat at Anne Erickson, Instagram and TikTok at EricksonAnne. It'sMeAnne.com has my Facebook and all of my socials. It'sMeAnne.com. Also, one more plug, my band Upon Wings. New stuff. So uponwings.com. Check it out if you like female-fronted rock and metal. All right, very excited to chat with Chuck Billy. Let's do it.
Hey, this is Chuck Billy with Testament right here on Audio Inc. Radio with Anne Erickson.
Thank you so much for making the time to do this right now. I know it's kind of a crazy, yeah. So there's so much, of course, to talk about. Everyone's so happy that you and your wife have recovered from coronavirus. So are you feeling, yeah. Oh my gosh, how are you feeling now?
We're feeling good. We're feeling back to 100%. It's been, 6 weeks or more. So, yeah, I mean, we never took any medication or anything. We just kind of just wrote it out, got our results, and just in quarantine and just kind of wrote it out, really,
Awesome. So you've been in everyone's thoughts lately because of coronavirus, but also have this great new record out with Testament, Titans of Creation. So at this point, you guys have, more than a dozen records out. How do you keep things fresh and exciting year after year?
I'm sure it does get tougher and tougher, but I think we're in a fortunate situation, because where Testament was from, I guess at one point, from almost breaking up to having a reunion with the original guys in 2005. I think ever since 2005, it's been a kind of a shift in our mental thought, the way we look at the industry. We were kind of fortunate just to have the chance to get to play music again together. Kind of really changed for us as a band, I think, over the years, and writing records, we've really been writing them more for ourselves than thinking about the public. I think, maybe it's selfish, but I think we've written better songs for ourselves and getting creative. And especially on this record, we really kind of pushed the boundaries. Eric really delivered some music that was really different from any other Testament records, and just maybe even just typical metal riffs. It was kind of just different. It was challenging for me as a vocalist, but it really inspired me and pushed me out of my comfort zone to try some new things. And this record, because of that, just I think all the songs really stand out on their own as far as the identities on this record. So I don't know. We just really had a good time putting this one together, and it's much nicer process than it was on the last one.
Yeah. What would you say makes this record different from anything you guys have done before?
Well, I definitely have to say, just again, what I just said was Eric. The chord progressions he's chose for the songs. Typically, I would probably fight him on it and say, no, change those. Easier for me to sing. I didn't do that on this one, and because of that, it challenged me and it made me try some other things. And I think that's what makes the songs stand out and this record stand out, is that we tried something different, and fortunately, it worked out for us.
Yeah, what I also love about this record is that it, of course, has, the thrash thing, but there's also melody in there. So how do you guys pull that off, like keeping it really heavy but still having a great melody?
Well, I think that was a selective choice on my part on this record. I knew, as a vocalist, I could go the lazy way and just get the riff and just do something typical that would be easy, where it's more barking without putting melody. I could do that, and I think that's cheating myself or taking shortcuts, where it's a lot harder to slide a melody over the music to make it heavy but still catchy. I think it's harder to do that. But on this record, I really wanted to take the approaches. I wanted to sing more on this record. I didn't want it to bark more. I wanted to be more melodic but be heavy on this one. That's really what I wanted to do, and I think I accomplished it. A lot of the songs really do have a lot of melody in them. So I don't think there's one song on here where I'm just barking straight through. Everything pretty much I found a melody for.
So Testament, you guys, of course, were on tour with Slayer for a long run for their farewell tour. Yeah. That was the first time I saw you guys. I was blown away. You guys were just really, killer. So what's your greatest What's your greatest memory from being on that farewell tour?
Well, just every night, we would finish the show early, and have the whole night ahead of us, and, get to see Slayer every night. Just the emotional part at the end of the show every night when Tom would say his goodbyes, we'd be sitting there talking amongst each other going, God, man, isn't that trippy? Just think, they're never going to be here again, these fans, and it just kind of got emotional a little bit sometimes when you really put it in perspective.
Right. And Slayer, they're one of those bands that you can actually believe when they say it's their final tour,
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Did it make you think ahead to retiring at all, or are you guys still way far away from that?
No, and I don't want to have to go get a job somewhere else.
Right.
I enjoy what we're doing. I think we've put a lot of time in this band, and we're having fun. We get along as a band on tour. We're writing good music. There's really no reason for us to even think about that or talk about that yet. Everybody's health is good, so until there's a reason to consider it, we're going to keep forging forward.
Oh, good. That's so good to hear. So with COVID-19, of course, oh my gosh, the music world is turned upside down. What are your thoughts on when, based on what you're hearing inside the industry, do you have any idea when shows might be back?
I don't have any idea, but I'm assuming no one officially said, hey, your summer festivals in Europe are all canceled. I know some shows are, and I'm sure there's not going to be any shows. America, our spring tours being postponed also. So we're just getting little bits of information, but I would think everybody's shooting for 2021.
Right.
Because I think everybody is going to have to learn, what do we do? Because what do we learn from what just happened? And how are we going to change the way we are in public with each other now? So there's going to be a lot of businesses and people trying to figure out what's the next thing, or what are we going to do, you know?
When would you personally feel comfortable playing a show again? Would you want to wait for like a vaccine?
I mean, I would, but I mean, I would love to play now, but I would, hate to go on tour and 2 people show up, because everybody's afraid to go out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we're just going to have to kind of see what everybody does. I mean, I do think once maybe like sporting events like basketball or football, where they're bigger gatherings, I think once those start happening, we'll go, yeah, okay, I'll go to a 1,000-seat show concert now. I feel comfortable, There's people that are gathering 30,000 people to see football and basketball and stuff, So it's just going to be a slow process.
When you came down with coronavirus, right when the news was first breaking everywhere, was that kind of scary? Because, I mean, I think for people who did not have it at that point, it was scary. There was so much unknown.
Well, yeah, of course it was scary because it was unknown. It wasn't a lot of info. Didn't know how sick you were going to get. And as over time now, we found out that it affects different people, where I didn't get a fever. I did have respiratory for maybe a day or 2, and then it got better. So, and then when I heard Will from Death Angel was admitted, of course, we all got really scared and freaked out. We're like, what? And, had a scary moment for a second. But, you watch the news and you just watch everything. You just don't know, because there's so much that we don't know still.
Mm-hmm. What advice would you tell people who are scared right now of getting the virus, based on the fact that, you've overcome it and you've gotten through it?
Well, I think everybody needs to do what we're being told. If it's quarantine, keep your bodies safe distance, then do it. I still go out sometimes and see people without a mask, or people in gatherings, and they're just ignoring it. I think, the sad thing is the people out there who don't feel sick, that could be sick, are out there spreading it. Those are the ones that we don't know, and and they're maybe getting other people sick that might have different symptoms just because they're, might be a diabetic or have, cancer survivor. Who knows? But,
So what have you been doing while on quarantine? Are there any bands that you're binge listening to, or TV shows you're watching?
Well, the new Sepultura record, I've been listening to that. A lot of Netflix and a lot of that. And we're going back and watching 6 Feet Under series over again. And just, a lot of chores around the house, getting a lot of work done around there.
Yeah, are you watching that Tiger King? I think I'm the only person who's not watching that.
I watched about 3 or 4 episodes and I've kind of stopped.
Okay. So you guys just put out the new record, but with this downtime on the way, have you thought about your next record yet?
Not yet. I talked to Eric, and he's actually working and writing, gathering new music. But I think it's too soon right now to start putting our heads into that space. Because when we write, we really got to be focused and do it, all in.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're just kind of talking to the record company, find out if there's other things we could do, maybe more videos, or maybe put something more cool packaging together for this record. I don't know. We're just kind of throwing around ideas.
What are your thoughts on the state of heavy metal music? Do you think it's in a good place?
I do. I really do. I mean, especially if there's bands like Slipknot having festivals and, mega cruises and, all those kind of things. When metal bands could sponsor events and get things going like that in that big of a capacity, yeah, it's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I still think we don't get the respect or the recognition, as far as like say
Right. No, I know that's always frustrating. Every year I hope that they change, their mind on the whole like metal award and do it on TV, but
yeah, it's the respect thing. I mean, maybe we don't sell as many records in the metal genre worldwide as some pop artists, but still there's people that want to see their favorite genre of music get represented and recognized,
Yeah. So is there one band out there who's still together who you haven't toured with yet, who you would just love to tour with?
Of course. Metallica.
That has to happen. That would be so great.
I know. I think I've been talking about it in magazines for 10, 20 years. Never happened.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, maybe that can be the big exciting thing that happens after concerts finally come back.
Oh, that would be so awesome. I mean, that's one band we respect, and we're right there, and it's amazing we've never played together. Well, we played on a festival together finally, I think 2 years ago maybe. That was the first time we ever shared a stage,
Mm-hmm. Are there any younger metal bands that you're into right now that maybe people haven't heard of yet?
Well, there's a lot of them. I mean, the thrash bands, I know, like Steve Sun's band, Patriot. They're a good new young thrash band. Real old school sounding.
What's their name again?
Patriot. Like Patriot, but Hatriot.
Any other ones?
That's probably the main one that stands out right now. Haven't really been listening to a lot of music. This new Sepultura is probably the latest one I've been kind of listening to. Mm-hmm. Now that we finished our record and we're just, done putting our mind in ease with it, focusing on that.
Something that I'm missing when it comes to live music is the camaraderie in the metal and hard rock communities at those shows. So I don't know if you're feeling that at all.
The camaraderie? Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, we're from the Bay Area. That's a different scene when we grew up in it, and it's definitely not the same as it was then. Definitely not as many venues as it was then. I know we just lost Slim's shut down, so we lost another one. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of camaraderie,
So what's next for you guys this year? I know it's hard because of COVID. Like, no one knows what the future holds, I guess.
We're experimenting, trying to figure out some more ways to promote this record, maybe explore maybe some more videos or do something that we can offer on YouTube. Maybe I think a playthrough of the whole record would be awesome. There's just things, if we're not going to go tour, we'll get together and try to figure out doing some other things,
That would be great, a playthrough. I think people would really love that.
Yeah.
Was there anything else you'd want to add?
No, I think that's it. We're all kind of just in limbo, just doing our thing. We're just, that's one thing is it's just been a weird time putting a record out when people can't go buy it. So hopefully just everybody kind of catches on to the record and either goes digital or orders it through Nuclear Blast. It'd be awesome.
Yeah. Are you guys doing the physical copies? Or I know some bands are behind. Okay, cool.
We are, but, of course, there's, since we lost Best Buy, there's not a lot of places to put records on the shelves these days,
But at least people can go to your site and go to and go and order it that way. So
yeah.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much again. So glad that you guys are doing well. Everyone was freaking out, as you know, in the metal world when they heard about you. So
right on. Oh, thanks, Anne, so much.
Chuck Billy from Testament, just a great guy, just a stand-up dude, and of course, an amazing musician, amazing metal artist in every way. So big thanks to you, Chuck, for being on the show. And it sounds like Testament has some pretty cool stuff in the works for this year, even without being able to tour and do all those normal things. Sounds like they'll have some really cool content for us, which is good news. And it's great to hear that he and his wife are COVID free. They are back to being 100%. So very good news all around. Thank you for rocking with me. And if you listen to the podcast, please subscribe wherever you rock out to podcast. Leave that 5-star review. Thank you for being a part of the show. If you want to connect with me, you can link up on social media. It'sMeAnne.com has all of my social links. Plus, you can email me, Anne@audioinkradio.com. Link up with me on Twitter, Facebook. I'm always up on there. So Don't be shy. Send me a message. If there's an artist that you would love me to interview, just let me know and I'll do my best to hook it up. It's Anne Erickson. Stay safe and healthy, and we'll rock soon.
It's Audio Inc. with Anne.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Audio Inc. Radio Podcast. Subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode. Get inked online at audioinkradio.com. I'm Anne Erickson for the Audio Inc. Radio Podcast.